What's up, everybody? This is the Growing Up Italian podcast. We got a couple of special guests today, and I got my little crew with me. We have a returning guest, Anthony Rodia.
Zep.
Mr. AKA Uncle Vinny, AKA How You Doing, AKA Freestyle Fridays.
Road
Rage Wednesdays. Big Show Saturdays. Big things on the way.
Yes.
Congratulations on all this success, brother.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
It's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah, so far. Hopefully stays up.
Keep going. And we also have first guest, Pat C, a.k.a. DJ Pat C.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
All right, man.
So we got two...
You guys gonna cut us
I was
off
gonna,
like
I was gonna cut you guys off. To be honest, everybody knows you guys. So
Yeah, all right.
We
Not
got-
that we're a point or anything.
Extremely disrespectful.
It's your boy Rocco over here. Just forget about us. It's fine.
Disrespected me.
Don't even pass me the mic.
So basically, we got two Bronx natives with us today.
Well, close. New Rochelle. It's close enough. I hung out in the Bronx.
I mean, that's where the action is,
Born in
no?
the Bronx. Yeah.
But you don't live in the Bronx anymore.
Not anymore. I lived there for like 28 years. Now I'm in Westchester. You know, we're a little more fancy, but I'm basically from the Bronx. So
Got a lot more grass.
yeah, there you go. That's it.
And Ant's in Long Island now, so
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, like that's what it is with Bronx and Brooklyn. You got to get out.
Yeah.
You can't be there forever.
I listened to my wife. Gave my wife the choice on where to live in Long Island.
You did the right thing, man. You saved the headache.
Yeah, listen, I say tell everybody. Without her, I wouldn't have the commute to Greenwich every morning, and I wouldn't have Road Rage Wednesdays. So she takes the credit for that.
She gives you a lot of material.
Yeah, takes the credit for my traffic. It's great.
So basically, I had this idea for this episode. So I used to promote clubs for anybody that knows me. And I met Pat like when I was 18 years old. And Pat promoted the same clubs I did. And he DJ'd too.
Yep. Okay.
So he like had multiple sources of incomes while working. Like I was just promoting, like making my $5 a head. But Pat was DJing, promoting, and he was like hustling shoes on the corner because the club we were working at that particular time, you basically needed like all black shoes or like diesels to get in.
It was confusing. Sometimes it was shoes, and sometimes they would let sneakers, so people were confused and they didn't know what to do.
So it was basically a doorman's discretion.
Yeah, something like that. It was a seasonal thing, depending on what the owner was feeling.
Depends what Mike wanted to
created
do.
the demand.
Yeah.
So, what club was this?
It was DNA.
Yeah.
At the time, I think it was called Club One, though, right?
Yeah, well,
You went there too?
Yeah, DNA Tea nights when I was like 15.
Oh, yeah, he was-
Then when I finally got in there, when I was like 19 was the first time I went there. And I'm like, this is a little different than Tea night. This is crazy.
Yeah, but I literally remember like my first experience of meeting Pat. Like he was known as a shoe guy. Like my friend didn't have shoes to get in, and we're like, "Go, just go to the shoe guy in the corner."
That's fucking brilliant.
But he had like,
Guys are pulling up to DNA barefoot, size 9.
so he had like, what did you have? Like
So,
4 pairs of 9.
What I did was so the first time, I'll start from the beginning. The first time I ever went to DNA, I got rejected for my shoes. And I was like, damn, if only a shoe store was open or somebody was selling shoes. But
you
then
had that expensive toll because you're coming from the
yeah,
Bronx.
coming from all the way from the Bronx. So I'm like, and I was with all my friends, so I wasn't gonna leave them behind. I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, I would have it. And fast forward a couple of years later, people would always talk about, everyone's getting rejected for shoes, and it would even affect my guest list. So I would lose people to shoes and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm losing money. Went online, bought some shoes from China wholesale by the box, a couple of every size, threw them in the trunk. And what
was the biggest size you had?
So I think we went up to 12, but the thing was they were slip-ons. So you can
Fit a
go
15.
if you were 13, you can fit. I had people with their heels sticking out going up to the
Foot
door.
sticking, big toe sticking right out.
Yeah,
huh?
right. It didn't matter. They didn't care. They just wanted to get it. And that was the thing with that place. There was such a hype there, and it worked. So what me and my partner did. Yeah, me and my partner.
Before that, it was Papagallo's, right?
I don't remember what it was. I remember it was Club One, and then DNA.
DNA and Club
Yeah,
One, and then
that was
Studio
it.
34.
Yeah, that was the end of the end. But what me and my partner did was when we first got the idea, there's two corners where people could possibly come up from, up the hill. So I stood on one corner, he stood on the other corner with clickers, and we checked the traffic on where there would be more people passing by. And if I would stop people, we would stop people if we saw they had sneakers on. Like, yo, you're not getting in. You can just cop some shoes, real quick. And that would help with a lot of...
You were selling them or you were renting them?
So what we would do is we would sell them at first, and if you came back and gave us the shoes at the end of the night, we would give you like $5-10 back. So we were selling them for like $30.
Yeah, like a bowling alley with no balls.
Basically.
just spray the shoe, leave $15.
Oh yeah, so that's funny you say.
Giving a ticket.
That's funny you say spray the shoe, because when he started allowing,
$5 extra. $5 extra.
At one point, the owner started allowing sneakers, but it
Business
was
gone.
only black sneakers.
I remember the diesel sneakers.
So people that had white sneakers, and they were like shitty sneakers, and they got rejected. We had black spray paint in the car, and we would spray paint your sneakers for $10.
Jesus Christ.
You'd find people for athlete's foot.
Yep.
There's an extra $200 there.
Oh, we made so much money. It was great.
That's so fun.
Yeah, that was that.
Yeah, so basically it's a hustle or get hustled world.
Yeah, man.
And we're all hustlers here from some shape or form. You know, and I remember when I first met him, like I discovered his page probably when he had, I want to say like 400 followers.
Yeah.
Like you're making a lot of noise fast. And now you're like, what, 17,000 or
I
something
think I'm
like that?
17,000 on
So-
Instagram and I think 26,000 on Facebook.
Yeah, I never seen anybody grow that fast. Right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
A lot of videos, a lot of nights getting yelled at by the wife to get out of the basement.
But,
Come over and watch This Is Us.
Oh, God.
I'll make a video. Yeah, it's listen, it's strenuous. Like I did a year's worth of research on social media, and I said to my wife, if I get back into stand up, because I always did stand up back then, but it was hard because the old school way is doing comedy club after comedy club, crossing your fingers that someone's going to be there, and you have to have the right person there. So I said, forget about that. I'm going to just build, a following, because you got so many people that you see that are famous and has nothing to do with their talent. They have a following. So if you can combine following with talent, so I ended up doing a ton of research and realizing that there were certain time slots, certain hashtags.
You got social media
content.
now. Social media is so
Yeah,
powerful.
you can. I mean, I got one video. I think it's got like 6 million views. Once that video hit, but little by little, if you can market yourself the right way, and you get a following, keep the following. So I'm doing it because the more following I get, the more shows I can do. And little by little, I want to start doing Jersey shows, and then reaching out to Chicago, and I got Florida asked me to do shows. So little by little, but it's tough. You gotta be very consistent. Like you guys were saying when I got here. How do you come up with the content every Wednesday, every Friday? It's tough. Like, there's some nights where I'm looking up at the ceiling, I'm like, I'm fucked tomorrow. I have nothing for Road Rage Wednesday. I hope there's absolutely no traffic.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah,
for those listening and who have never heard of you, just, give yourself a little shout out. Tell them what exactly you do.
You can go to any social media site, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and you can look up RodiaComedy, RODIA comedy. Basically, what I do is I created a character, Uncle Vinny, which any Italian out there, that's off the boat, first generation, what have you, you're gonna have an uncle like Uncle Vinny. He's always pissed off. He's never in a good mood. Then I created his wife. I'll actually announce
Zia
it
Lucia?
first. You wanted me to announce something first? I'll announce something first. This weekend is a very good chance you might meet his kids. He's got two grown kids, gay son named Fabrizio, and his daughter Maria. So I might roll them out. But it's just I played around with the idea. It was actually by accident. I made the page when we did it, we were talking about changing.
Yeah,
my page was It's Uncle Vinny, and I said
And I
want
told
more
you, message the
recognition.
guy that has it without the, because his page was Uncle Vinny with what do you call that?
Underscore?
Yeah, underscore.
I messaged him. I said, listen, I'm a comedian. I have this character I created. I would love to switch names to you. My man just answered me back simply no. That's it.
Yeah, I tried to do that with Sabino.
No.
Just the name Sabino.
Did he want
guy-
money? He probably wanted money, right?
He was just
he
like,
didn't say
no.
anything?
I was like, can I offer you something? He's like, no. I was like, all right, do you do anything with your name? He was like, it's my name. I'm like, are you an uncle? He's like, no. I'm like, then you're a fucking idiot. I don't know what you're doing. But then I ended up,
But you're creating a brand like this, though, man. Like I like what you're doing with Rodia
Well, we're
Comedy.
actually we have a knock on wood. We have we're going to be pitching it for an actual cartoon, like an off the boat Italian cartoon. So we're creating him as like
I'm
a
all
full
for
character.
that, man. I could see that.
We got some
listen,
banging exclusives
I've
right now.
I've seen Italian comics. You obviously got Vic DiBattista, you got Sebastian Maniscalco, which is killing it.
The two monsters.
I mean, they really are doing what they should be doing, what they love to be doing. But you don't have off the boat Italian comedy. You do it. Canada has them.
I remember when I was growing up, my parents, Pasquale
Yeah.
Parmesan.
Yeah, remember?
My
The
dad.
car accident with the deer?
Yeah,
That was
my
like that
dad
was the
used to have
funniest
the
thing I've ever
CD,
heard.
man.
Oh.
We used to listen to him on like car rides to upstate.
Yeah, the whole tape. First,
That
you
was,
had the Jerky
those were the
Boys.
original podcasts.
Well, you had the Jerky Boys, which was the original audio comedy that you can listen to, prank phone. But then with Parmigiano, I mean, I remember driving upstate hunting season, and we would listen to that deer skit over and over and over again. But if you think about it, you got the guys in Canada, they do off the boat Italian. You don't really have first generation off the boat. You got guys that do Italian comedy, and they mix it with English. So I had a choice. I speak dialect Napolitan. I could do that. But what you do is you take your audience and you shrink it. Because now you got people that don't understand Italian but are Italian. They're going to be lost. They're not going to enjoy it. So I do a lot of off the boat.
You also
Italian.
connect to other people like Greeks.
Yeah.
Because
Puerto
everybody's
Ricans, Portuguese.
What about the Puerto Rican thing? Same thing, but you got to switch the numbers a
That's
little
it.
bit.
Listen, there's not if you were brought up off the boat where you're either Italian, Greek, Portuguese, Spanish, Mexican, there are a lot of similarities.
A lot of struggles,
Yeah.
same struggles.
Struggles, working. Your parents broke their ass. The way you were brought up, your how your parents brought you up. Like I got my ass kicked bad. I mean, my father hit me once or twice, and that's all I needed. But my mother was the abusive one. The abusive one.
Nowadays, God
She
forbid you
denies
did
it
something
now.
like that.
Yeah, she'll plead the fifth. That's it. But we were just brought up differently as kids. Like very, very different upbringing.
No, I definitely agree.
I just wanted to say, I love Sebastian Maniscalco, and
Yeah.
He actually did 4 shows on MSG.
he
Sold out.
that guy's
Sold out.
living legend. That guy. But it's funny what you say because off the boat Italian. I always said that to anybody I know. I said, "Wow, I wish there was always that one comedian that I could relate to." Because
That's why I did it.
Yeah.
There is one guy that I watch. You ever see Joe Avati?
yeah,
Joe Avati's hilarious. But even Joe, I went to go see him in Westchester like 12 years ago. He had a lot of Italian in the show. So you do lose the audience. You're
Right.
not listen, the Italian culture, my partner Dominic, he did a whole bunch of research and he said, listen, there's nothing wrong with attacking the Italian crowd. You have 18 million Italians in this country. And the Italian culture, believe it or not, is the only growing nationality still. But the Italian language is being lost.
It's dying.
So once you
Definitely.
dedicate a show to Italian language, whether it's 10 minutes of the show, you're losing the audience for that 10 minutes. So that's
Right.
why I went with the off the boat. It's people meet my father at some of the shows. Like they're like, "Hey, Mr. Rodia, how you doing?" He's like, "Hey, nice. You enjoyed my son's show." And they're like, "Oh my God, you're not fucking around." That's how he talks. I'm like, "No, that's him. Me on stage is him." So that's the main reason why I wanted to do the off the boat Italian comedy because I don't care. Listen, you're Italian. You're Italian. It's blood that runs through your veins.
Right.
I don't care if you don't speak it or not. But there are 2 different types of Italians, and I heard you talking about this with Vinny on your show from Jersey Shore. You've got the Goomba Italian, and then you have the off-the-boat Italian. And
Right.
if you're off the boat and your parents are off the boat, you were brought up differently. You talk differently. You were raised differently. Like, my father hates The Sopranos. I enjoy watching it, but he can't stand it because he feels like it makes the Italians look bad. It gives them a bad name. So this,
yeah.
You
I
know,
don't care
we were
what
we were
kind of
talking
Italian
about
you are.
that with the Vinny podcast. He's like, I thought you were gonna like insult Vinny and say like, people think that Italians are mobsters or Guidos. I was like, yo, I almost said it. I'm not gonna
you're
lie.
not wrong.
But
you're not
I
wrong.
was shaking.
He actually said it for me. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
He was brought up more. If you're gonna look at anybody on that show, Vinny was probably the only old school Italian person. Like his family was more old school than the other ones. But you're not wrong. Like go to Nebraska, go to like the Midwest. You have hicks out there that think Italians are you
Italians?
Yeah, are you Italians from the Jersey Shore? You got to use olive oil on your skin. Like that's what they think. But that show gave Italians kind of not a bad name, but like I said, there's 2 different types of Italians. I'll leave it at that without. I'm not gonna. I'll start getting followed by a bunch of Jews heads.
All right, so that's RodiaComedy. Check it out. Let's get a little Pat going over here. So Pat, what do you do, man?
I mostly now I just produce. I still go by a DJ, but I stopped kind of doing all that for a little bit. I do it once in a while, but only like favors for people and like promoters that I've known for a long time and stuff like that. I don't like to work with the current industry and the way it's going and stuff like that.
Bring 50 people for $100.
Yeah, it's always been, bring some people, at least in the last
Sell a
10,
table.
15 years. But now it's like tables and like for $100, they'll let it's like they're doing you a favor by letting you DJ. And like, I feel like the music is also changed too now. It's all about.
But you do a bunch of you sell mixes and stuff.
Yeah, now
a little bit.
now I just basically I produce. So like I do like I make music for the DJs. So like I'll do mashups and edits and like cutting music certain ways that it makes the crowd move a certain way, or the way DJs would like it, and DJs
exactly.
are the ones who get the music
Transitions, all that stuff,
yeah, all the stuff that DJs use. So
What websites are you on?
I'm on Digital Music Pool right now. Yeah, that's who I.
Yeah, because I saw like you post a bunch of times like top 10 ranking songs.
Yeah, that's like their they have charts on there on the most downloaded songs and stuff like that. I'm always in the most downloaded. I've been doing this for such a long time that like I know what people want, and every time I go to a new website I adjust to like what their crowd on their website wants and stuff like that, so I know exactly what to make and what they want to hear, so that's why I'm always like climbing the charts and stuff like that and all that.
That's awesome, man. Much respect to you.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to ask you, I'm not too familiar with your material,
Yeah.
but is it more like trap or is it specific genre? Is it EDM?
I started out being house, and then became open-minded, and now I do like open format. So basically that's like everything that like you hear. You go to any city club that doesn't only play rap, and it's like they mix in house with rap and
that's
some
perfect,
rock and
yeah.
like just a little
Basically
bit of
every day.
Yeah, that's what I
everything
like.
that people want. Like
He'll do Bon Jovi mashups.
yeah, and with like house, I'll do literally. I try to specifically be different and like take old school and mix it with the new school.
Love
and,
that.
Like, fuse that.
He actually did our
together.
intro for this episode, so when you hear
All
it,
right, sounds
Yeah,
good,
this
man.
is-
Looking forward to that.
stuff. Yeah, man, it's cool.
Freestyle?
Yeah, honestly I don't make too much freestyle because it's hard to like.
yo, we got to bring freestyle back.
Come on,
Freestyle
baby.
is
Yeah,
tough.
those are the
your
days.
face just lit up.
He looks like he's gonna go crazy.
Head, but I don't know about that. Because then you're gonna have to bring back like tinted out like headlights on a Mustang. Or something like that.
The big hair is gonna come back.
I gotta go find out if they still sell like LA Looks gel and Rave Level 5 and.
I still listen to freestyle though.
No, I'll
Yeah,
pump
we all bump
freestyle
it.
once in
Yeah.
a blue, and I've got everything in my car. But like you said, I like when it's mashed up. I don't like just
Definitely.
And today's music, hip hop, you can't understand shit.
Yeah, it's all mumble now.
You go to my
but-
car, it's Biggie, it's Jay Z, it's Tupac, it's Nas. Like it's old school stuff you could actually understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what's
And
that
it's
guy's
meaningful lyrics too.
name? It makes sense. Like who's that guy that got arrested? Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
Come on. I'm not even gonna go into it because this will be a 3-hour show. But
Honestly,
looks like a Care Bear.
honestly, I'm gonna shout out my boy. He's signed to Rock Nation. He produces Stag Selector, and it's perfect to go with this show because we had a conversation before the show started, and I'm not promoting anything negative because I rather promote things I fuck with or things that's making me money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no negative energy, and like he's the one that basically told me that like whenever people talk about 6ix9ine how he sucks, he's just like, all right, but listen to this guy that still rapping out
what I
old
was going to
school.
get, one thing about him, again, what I said before, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you create a following, so even though I don't listen to his music or I don't think it makes sense or whatever, it's not the kid, he was making
He
money.
knew how to market himself
Oh
too.
my God, yeah, but that's back to, and I was gonna say that's a perfect example. If you know how to market yourself, you know how to get yourself out there, you know how to create a following. Listen, I don't care what you're doing. You could be a painter. If you create a following, nobody can hate on the fact that you marketed yourself. Like I get comics that write me
Even
sometimes.
negative things though. A lot of things about him were
listen, I get
negative too.
stuff every day. I'll get comedians, fellow comedians that go, listen, I find your stuff funny, but you leapfrog the industry. You're not doing it the right way. Why? Because I don't want to go to nightclubs and do 6 minutes. I'd rather rent out theaters, create a following, and pack. Like the theater we're doing for February 2nd, 400 people. I produce my own shows. I like to run my own shows. So whether that's the right way or wrong way to do it, you market yourself. I got nothing for respect for you. Listen, he's got a lot more money than
Let's
his
talk a
neighbors,
little
that's
bit
for sure.
about your upcoming shows. So we're in January 20th, right?
Yeah.
It's January 20th. That's when this episode's gonna come out.
You just confused the hell out of me.
I know because I'm just looking at my calendar.
I didn't think it was that.
What do you what you got coming up?
So January 26th, we actually just sold out my first Jersey show. It's a smaller show, but it's just got sold out. It's at Calabria's in Livingston, New Jersey. Wanted to kind of get a feel for the Jersey crowd, so I wanted to start off small, and then we're planning a big show probably in Bergen County, and then making my way down south. But that's January 26th. February 2nd, I'll be at the White Plains Performing Arts Center, which Sabino promised me when I got here that he's going to show. So
Yeah, I'm gonna come.
Just put you on the spot real
I'm gonna
quick.
come- I'm gonna
Listen,
come
the
with
whole
the
show's
gang.
got tickets. The whole show's got tickets. If you guys can make
You'll
it.
see Growing Up Italians
That's
there.
fine.
Don't
That's
worry.
listen, bring your shirts, whatever. I'll throw them from the stage. I'll do it.
There you go.
But February 2nd, that's
Yo, we gotta get Uncle Vinny in one of our Growing Up Italian shirts, man.
I got one
That's
from
it.
later, so he better
That's
be
fine.
wearing
I'll
one.
make it. Uncle Vinny will be proud to make a video wearing that shirt. But so for people that don't know, when I do White Plains Performing Arts Center 4 times a year, that's the first theater that gave me a shot to actually rent out and was like, listen, you're a no-name guy, but we'll give you a shot. We'll let you rent it out. So I'm going to do 4 shows there a year. But you got February 2nd there. February 9th, 16th, 23rd, and March 2nd, I'll be doing Carnival at Mayapack, Villa Barone.
That's upstate, right?
Yeah, Mayapack, yeah. So they do Carnival. I'll be there 4 weeks. March 16th, I'll be headlining Governors in Levittown, 7 o'clock and 9:30. March 23rd, we just booked another show. I'll be at Central Stage in Yonkers headlining. March 30th, I'm doing a benefit for my old high school, New High School, my little cousin's softball team. We're doing a fundraiser, so I'll be performing at a Barnard School. And then April 12th is the Canada show in Toronto.
Man, you got a packed schedule, man.
Hopefully,
You just
keep
made my
booking.
head spin a little bit.
Booking, yeah.
Best of luck to you, man. You're doing a great thing.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Now, tickets are definitely available on your website, right?
You go to RodiaComedy.com, go to shows, and you can get your shirts there. You can click shows. You'll see all my shows. Click tickets, and it takes you right to that dedicated link. Yeah.
That's dope,
You
man.
guys
You're,
don't have to go to tickets, even though you said you're
you're on
pay.
fire now. I'm coming to the February 2nd
I'll
show.
boycott the whole podcast if you don't come now.
You almost scared me because you almost pulled a no-show tonight.
I
You
was
take-
gonna actually do I was busy at work today, but I was gonna do this elaborate video where it was a shout out to you, apologizing I couldn't show, and then as you cursed me out inside, I was gonna knock on the door, but I didn't have time.
He got me good. He called me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing a show in Tennessee. I can't make it."
what?
And it honestly wouldn't be the first time that's happened to me. It's actually happened twice. So
All the Italians in Tennessee, you really believe that?
Yeah, so many Italians in Tennessee.
I don't know about Tennessee, man. Did we get any listens in Tennessee?
I'll check right now.
I actually think I shipped 2 shirts to Tennessee, but I think those are the only 2 Italians in there. They moved there and they wanted a shirt. I was like, Tennessee? I was like, is this? I emailed her. I was like, is this a misprint? She was like, no, I live in Tennessee. I'm a huge fan. Are you Italian? She was like, yeah, really? All right. I mean,
Italians everywhere, but like the Carolinas are crazy.
Carolina, Cleveland. One thing I'm shocked is I get messages from Melbourne, Australia. They're like, come do a show.
We have cousins there.
Yeah.
Huge
Australia's
Italians.
huge,
Yeah, a lot.
And then Rhode Island, huge Italian population.
Paulie D, man. That's Paulie D.
Yeah.
man right there.
But what's funny, I'll go live once in a while and I'll ask them where. I like to find out where I can do a show. Where are my followers? But you got to see the answers. Like some people are like, you should do the Barclays Center. I'm like, we'll have like 400 people in a 30,000 person arena. They're like, do MSG. I'm like, guys, chill. I'm talking about like theaters. No, you should. And like they're shouting out these huge theaters. I'm like, guys, I'm not doing giant stadiums.
You'll be
I'm
there
not
soon,
yet.
though, man, hopefully.
I would love to, man, to do this full time.
You're on the way there. You're on
When
the
I
way.
make the announcement that I'm full time, I'll guarantee I'll make it on your show.
All right, so when Ant goes full time, he
Yeah.
promised he's gonna do it
I will
here at
definitely
Growing Up
make the announcement
Italian.
on your show. Without
It's gonna be the
question.
exclusive. It's
Without
like ESPN. Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, I'm taking my talents to full time.
Breaking news.
Taking my talents to South Beach with permission from my wife.
That's awesome, man. Yo, I gotta put you on the spot though, man, because I remember when we had our conversation before this podcast, you said that you like being on the spot. So you got a little joke for us right off the dome?
Oh, man. Yes. All right. So 86-year-old guy goes to the doctors. Doctor says, listen, Angelo, I know this is awkward, but we have new ways of, running tests to see if like you have cancer and stuff like that. I can do it with your sperm. So I need a sperm sample. So he gives him a jar and he says, I want you to bring it back, with a sperm sample tomorrow. So Angelo comes back, hands the jar to the doctor, and it's empty, spotless, clean. So he goes, Angelo, what happened? He goes, I don't know. I went home. I tried with my right hand, nothing. I tried with my left hand, nothing. I even tried both hands. Then I called my wife from upstairs. She come down. She tried with both her hands, nothing. She even tried with the mouth, with the teeth in, with the teeth out, nothing. I even called Maria next door. She come over. She tried with both the hands, nothing. She even tried to lock it between the legs. Nothing. I don't understand. Doctor goes, you asked your neighbor Maria for help? He goes, hey, sure. Nobody can get this goddamn top off for the job. There you go. Just put me on the spot. Appreciate it.
Man, off the dome, man.
Oh man, that's
I got millions of them, man.
Now,
It's,
yo,
it's an
I call
occupied
myself.
brain.
I call myself looking on YouTube when I just cracking up, like watching
Well,
the
a
show
lot of
clips.
people ask me why I stopped, because I used to do Joke Time Friday. reason why I stopped, they're not like people get mad. They're like, I heard that joke.
It's
before.
offensive. Well,
No, they get mad that of course you heard that it's a joke. Like one guy was like, it'd be funny if you wrote it yourself. My father told me that when I was 6. No, nobody told you. Nobody said I write them. So I stopped because I like to be original. So I felt like anybody could tell a joke, and I didn't want people thinking that I was because you have people out there that just don't get it. I stopped doing it because I like telling jokes, but I don't do it on stage, and they're not my jokes. There's jokes that I've heard, like from my uncles and stuff. Like this one was left on my
but I
page.
like those jokes that get passed down.
Yeah, dude. Like this one was left on my page today, on my Uncle Vinny page. And
Someone commented that.
yeah, what's that?
Which?
I have I have a private page, like a group called Uncle Vinny's Extended Family.
Okay.
And my followers are the best. So all my members, they'll share jokes and stuff. So a joke is something that you've heard or that, like you say, passed down. I didn't take credit for the joke, so I stopped doing Joke Time Friday, which I'm glad because now I'm doing Freestyle Friday. So
Yeah, man, you're doing good.
thank you.
So, being two Italians that were born and raised in the Bronx, what does it mean to be a Bronx Italian? Like,
Okay, he could say he was born. I have cousins. I mean, I have an uncle that was born in the Bronx, but he could start because he was born. I hung out a lot in the Bronx. A lot of Morris Park.
because it's changing a lot too.
a lot, yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
the
time.
neighborhood's changing, but New Rochelle is, to me, New Rochelle is the Bronx. Like, I could have
Westchester's version.
It's still the Bronx because
But
it's
New
within-
Rochelle's before
It's
Westchester.
a, yeah, it's technically Westchester, but like it's right there. It's
You're
10 minutes
literally
from the Bronx.
5 minutes from the Bronx.
I used to get there in 10 minutes,
Yeah,
a couple of exits off the highway. So that's basically the Bronx. I mean, Queens and Brooklyn are like close too. So
Yeah,
it's very.
I mean, it
similar to
depends
that.
because sometimes it'll take you an hour to get to Brooklyn
Some parts
from
it
here.
depends. So if you talk about
It'll
you
never
know,
take you an hour to
Greenpoint and
5
Williamsburg,
minutes.
it's similar. It's very similar to stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, they're very close. So yeah, I have so many friends in New Rochelle. It's like we were always like Bronx and and Westchester were like this. The same way Queens and Brooklyn were like that, and
Yeah.
Brooklyn and Staten Island are like this.
like
and
that,
you
yeah.
have you have that
Connection,
neighbor,
yeah.
the neighbor connection. You would always go out. You'd always have like DNA would always be the Bronx and the Westchester promoters would be together.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna. That's exactly why I brought that point up because, like, I remember when we used to promote a party, we'd be like, all right, yeah, we need 2 Long Island promoters, we need 2 Brooklyn promoters,
Yep.
we need 2 Bronx promoters.
And there's not many like Italians and stuff in just the Bronx, so you would get like
That whole clique,
and Westchester. It would be like Bronx and Westchester together. You can't just be like, oh, we're just gonna have a little bit of a Bronx promoters. You got to combine them so you can get everybody because we all knew each other anyway. So it would all be like one.
But that's how it was. There's a whole. You get one person to get the whole clique out.
Exactly.
You know.
That's how.
But I remember even Mario and Christian. You're cool with them, right?
Yeah, those are my best friends. Yeah,
Their guest list name was the Bronx Boys.
Yeah, that was it though. That was like you
I
had
remember
those
that.
guys, and then that was
I
it.
remember that.
If you're not,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like.
Man, I wish I could go back though sometimes, bro.
I give my left pinky toe and one of my testicles to go back to when I was 22.
22?
22.
I'm thinking like 18.
No, 22.
No.
'Cause I was making decent money for a 22-year-old when I didn't need my parents, and I had absolutely no responsibilities.
Yep.
22. Going out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and
Yeah,
then
that's how
Monday,
I was,
you're
too.
looking for. Now I go into work, and my coworker's like, "Rough night." Yeah, man. Where'd you go last night? Last night, 6 nights ago. Like it takes me
you a
like
while to
week
recover.
To recover.
Everybody says that.
Oh, it's.
I don't even
rough.
like to drink that much because like that whole reason. Like my hangover is horrible.
My wife and I went out to Cabo in Rockville Center.
I think they're gonna say
Saturday night.
Cabo in Astoria because they changed it to.
No, that's a good spot too.
They changed it to
Spice, I think it is.
Spice
Yeah,
with a
it's
Y.
white
Oh,
now,
Spice to me was an old porn channel, but whatever. So when you had the scrambler box,
Oh yeah.
that was Spice. Spice
You
and
remember
tuxedo.
when you used to do with the box? in
Yeah,
the
hell yeah,
back,
the
like,
scrambler.
unplug it?
Dude, my
Static.
scrambler went out one night when I was watching it, and I was like, I'll just listen to the sound. I need the
Just to
sound.
see just a little.
That's
maybe
it.
Like a
I was like,
tinny
oh,
color,
I see a little
do
bit of
rainbow
skin
static,
and a little bit of sound. But I mean, oh shit, I don't know. But we went to Cabo and we're sitting there, and they had a little event, and then we took a couple pictures. Like William DeMeo was there, John Gotti Jr. was there. They had a little event for their clothing line. I think William DeMeo's clothing line. And my wife and I are sitting there like 9:30, 10 o'clock eating, and after we eat, we caught each other. I'm like, this is crazy. It's 11 o'clock. People are just getting here?
11 o'clock's early too,
And she's like,
right?
and she said it, and then we looked at each other. I was like, oh, we're fucking old. Like I was going out at midnight. But now you see it. I'm like, I'm like 2 hours past my bedtime.
Sometimes people go out 1 o'clock to be at the club
I
at
used
2.
to go to sleep and then wake up at like 2 and then go
Yeah.
out to like after
Get out of the
hours.
club at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday,
Yeah,
and then
the
go to a
sun's
brunch.
And you see all the crackheads coming out.
Or the family's going to breakfast. They're like, don't look at them. They're Guidos. They're all night
I
Guidos.
remember a big thing when we were promoting too was that everybody would go to Pasha after the after hours.
Yep, it would be
Like when
it
it would be the
have
big
enough, forget it.
DJ,
Yep.
I'd be like, yo,
Jonathan Peters?
That's not for
yeah,
me.
man, that's my
I
favorite.
mean, Jonathan Peters was a little before my time. But I'm talking
he
about.
was still rocking Pasha when we were out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, how old are you?
I'm 28.
No, dude. Oh, yeah, you're right.
But like, I
Yeah.
remember hearing of
He
him
was
like,
towards
Jonathan
the end of
was
the.
more Sound Factory.
Yeah, but he
Yes,
still did
yes,
Pasha. Yeah, he
yes,
was still my
yes.
favorite to see at Pasha.
but like
He was
even
very-
Eric
That's like my
Murillo,
mom's
like
favorite
Oh
DJ.
yeah, all those guys.
I knew I was done with that stage when I went to, I think it was Sound Factory, and Jonathan Peters was spinning. And I might have been in my late 20s, and I saw 2 girls, beautiful girls, with JP this big tattooed on their back. I was like, I'm fucking.
yeah, he has diehard
I
fans.
was like, I am done. I was like, this dude will never be like. You don't see people like Elvis Duran tattooed on their back. It just didn't make sense.
Elvis Duran.
I was like, I'm done. This guy's gonna stop spinning, and this poor girl's gonna be like questioned by her husband. Who's JP? I want the truth. No, it's a DJ. No, it's all over your back. I was like, I'm done. That's it. That was my last time at Sound Factory.
For real?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yo, you know what's funny is like my parents. I remember when they used to go to Crowbar, Sound
Yeah,
Factory.
Limelight,
Yeah.
Exit.
Yep.
Did they go to Exit?
All those places. Yeah.
Who
Wait, I
did-
went to the same clubs as your parents. You make you really fucking
No,
old.
my parents are about it.
My parents were way too old to be there. They were like 35 going like this is like when we were 10.
They popped
Right now-
themselves at like my 18th birthday.
No,
that's
no.
awesome though.
We were probably like 15. I was like 15 when they were going out.
There was a few times that I was out and I saw Dad walk in and I'm like, and they're like, "Your dad's here." I'm like, "Hell yeah, we're making him pay $5."
That's crazy. My parents will drink at home. but
My parents are like the parents I want to be in, like hip. And,
No, but that's cool.
awesome.
My mom tries to be in, but she looks like Dora the Explorer. She's about 4.5 feet tall, so she can't fit in. She's gonna watch this and beat the shit. I'm getting hit with a broom at 38 years old.
Yo, Pat, who do you think's the biggest DJ right now? Like, who's the JP Danny Tenaglia nowadays?
Oh, with deep house, because there's different stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's different genres, and you could talk like the EDM. You know, and you still got guys like
Yeah, 'cause-
Tiesto who have been on top for 15 years, and he's still like
Yeah.
the number 1, number 2 DJ. You know what I mean? So
But Tiesto can't DJ a club. He has to DJ
he's
a
got to DJ
festival.
a big thing. Yeah, he doesn't do the small shows anymore. I mean, again, listen, I'm not too much in the DJ world as I used to be, but you know, because it's changed a lot. But
Do you still
now-
hang out with B-Breaker too?
Yeah, that's still my brother.
B-Breaker,
I still
yo.
do mixes
He's a
with him
legend.
and stuff.
Remember
Yeah,
when he
he's
used to DJ Stereo.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
still that's still my brother. We still to this day we do edits every single week. Like we're sending stuff back and forth to each other, doing remixes and stuff like that. Still, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, what you do is amazing because the only thing when I go out, the music's got to be on point.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's the most
like 2
important
weeks
thing.
ago, I went out to a club, and it was house night,
Mm-hmm.
and let me tell you, I was into it for the first 5 songs. Like, all right,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
let's
cool.
get it. And then the 6th one, I was like, okay, that's all right. All right. 7th song, all right, I'm getting out of here. It's just
Yeah,
like,
it's like-
You didn't realize it was a 28-minute song.
yeah, exactly.
Just one song.
All right, we find that beat right now.
Yeah.
2 minutes later, we still find that beat. Like,
Well, now if you're a house DJ, if you play more than 2 minutes, it's like it's a
Yeah.
little too much now. 'cause
Yeah.
the ADD level is crazy.
Now, nowadays, like, listen, this is another thing I caught the tail end of.
Yeah.
But I remember, like, seeing like the older guys DJing, like they would come with like crates and CDs.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to Dom T from
Okay.
where's he from?
The Bronx?
Yeah, he's from the Bronx
my-
too,
he's
right?
from my neighborhood. Yeah.
So he, for the longest time when we were young, I remember he was DJing with CDs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, wow, this kid
Yeah.
DJs with CDs.
Yeah.
So I saw him like when I went out recently, like maybe a year ago. I'm like, yo, you still DJ with CDs? And he's like, nah, I got this now. And he has like a
Pulls the
USB.
USB out. Oh man, that's
I was like, why don't you just use the computer,
It's
bro?
all
He's
done on
like,
a laptop now.
no, but he doesn't use a laptop. He
Just
uses
use a USB. That's it.
If you play like deep house music,
Right.
it's kind of like shunned to like have a laptop.
Really?
Yeah, so now it's like it's similar to you either doing vinyl or you're
Right.
doing on these USB sticks because now you have a laptop. It's too commercial.
Wow.
And then it's too like those are like hip hop DJs and
Yeah.
they use like laptops
Right.
still. You know what I mean? So and you don't have to worry about doing quick transitions. You can play the whole song.
I got you.
So the mixing and stuff like that is like it's easier. You can do that with USB sticks. So it's a whole thing. So they try to be cool.
Let me chime in one more time. So there's some DJ, I think it might be Funk Flex. Every Friday,
Yeah.
he does like this thing where he just keeps mashing up every 10 seconds. Cannot stand that.
Oh, I know
Why do
exactly
they do
what you're
that?
talking about.
So he does that personally. I don't know why, but it's a trend. It's like hip hop
Dude,
DJs will go in and out.
hate that.
But that's how hip hop is now. You're gonna see now. I'm calling this now. You're gonna see songs get shorter and shorter itself.
Well, that's awesome. You're saying
Yes.
that. Finish what you're saying. Then
So songs will get shorter and shorter. Back in the day, it started in the 50s. Songs were 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. As time grew on, you got 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Sometimes in the 60s and 70s, you get 6 minute songs, and then eventually started getting shorter and shorter again. Now you're around 3 minutes and two
songs
minutes
used to be
and a-
4 minutes.
Yeah.
4.5 minutes.
Oh, it's an Eminem album.
Yeah.
You know, 6.5 minute song. Rap
Yeah.
album,
But like Tekashi's the king of that. Talking about him, his
Yeah.
songs are 2 minutes because
whole album is
people
so
have short
short.
attention spans.
Yeah.
If you don't like the song, it's already done.
Yep.
You
And
know?
it's easier for DJs to play them because the crowd will like stop dancing, will not pay attention to what you're doing if you're playing something for too long. And they just want to hear the best part of the song that they can sing, and then they want you to go to the next song so they can sing
Yeah,
that
you
part.
won't
of
even,
that
you'll
song.
never hear the second verse.
No, you never. You'll always hear the chorus and then maybe one verse if it's like a popular song, and then that's it. That's literally it. That's what
the
music's
game's
becoming. in
changed,
clubs.
man.
And forget about house music. You don't hear the breakdowns where it like stops. You will not hear that at all. That's what I do. I like make that part easier.
I gotta
put
go somewhere where
claps
you're
and,
at,
like,
man. Where are you? Because like I gotta be there. I'm serious.
Listen, I only
I'm trying to
do
have a good
certain- I
time,
only do
not-
certain parties a year. I don't take bookings from anybody. I'm
Right, right.
I can get booked
We
anywhere.
got
I,
a sweet 16 in the family.
Bro,
I do favors for people.
that'd be a
I
lit
do,
Sweet 16.
I'll do occasional private events or whatever for people and stuff. Or like I just DJ New Year's for the same place that books me every New Year's Eve for the past 8 years. I'll always do that.
And they'll
place.
always book you because I know New Year's is so hard to
Yeah,
get a
exactly.
DJ.
So, but they love me there, and I respect
Where do
them.
you do
for-
New Year's?
This place, EXO in Forest Hills in Queens.
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
cafe,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
always do
yeah.
that place. It's a small place, but I can play whatever I want.
That's
They
where
love
my wife's from. She's from Middle Village.
They
right
love
there.
freestyle. They love break. I can play anything. I can experiment, and I just play that. And nobody breaks my balls. If I bring this many people, bring that many people, sell tables, and they've been booking me for.
Because honestly, that's what the game is, though.
That's what it is.
Because coming from my perspective, I remember, like, all right, we need a DJ that could bring 30 people, and really, you like lose because then that kid's throwing the bangers on.
Oh,
all
yeah,
of a
you
sudden,
gotta-
people are walking in hearing the best song.
That's the thing. Now you have openers who are trying to prove themselves,
Right.
Because they want to get that top spot, and it's not about like the respect for the next DJ. So they play. I'm walking into clubs as the headliner. And I'm hearing the opener play stuff that I've made, and the same thing with B Breaker, same thing with other guys, and not just my stuff, but like stuff that I would play because it's the hottest song out. Like you go now, there's big songs like
The Meek
Super
Mill
Bowl.
Drake song.
Yeah, like you're playing Drake at 11 o'clock. There's no one in the club. What are you doing? Like, and it's like you're not supposed to do that.
Well, DJing is a lot like comedy.
Exactly.
I
It's
go
like,
out
yeah.
on a set. I have everyone's like, why don't you do all Italian comics? I'm like,
Yeah.
because I don't want too much Italian shit. It gets played out. So like my opener is my host is Spanish. You know, he's Spanish and Italian, and my feature guy Darren Rivera, he's Puerto Rican. You know, we're adding Tara Conastrasi, so I'm throwing a female Italian in there. But same thing, you have a set.
Yeah.
Like I got a guy that I've known since I was a young kid, Joey Donato, DJ Shortcuts. He's
Oh,
killing
we
it.
know
The
Shortcuts.
Shortcuts has a set. Like the guy I use all the time, my boy DJ Cams from New Rochelle. He has a set. Like so you go into these clubs, you do a 2-hour set, and I was talking to a couple of DJs, they said it's mind-boggling when you got the guy opening for you and you walk in and this dude's playing music that would drive people nuts and there's like 40 people in the club. Then you
Because a lot
gotta
of those
switch your whole
people
setup.
want to leave because they're like,
Right.
I heard the songs I want to hear already.
Yeah.
You'll
And
see
then-
places
and then-
die down
and then
early.
if you're headlining, you
Yeah.
got to change your set now and your
Yup.
whole arrangement.
I can't play that same song. I mean, sometimes I do anyway because I'm like, all right, whatever. There's only 10 people that heard it before,
Right.
so I'll play it again. But you shouldn't have to do that.
No.
It's like someone telling you a joke. Like people are gonna,
Well, I'm getting shit for that. People are starting to write me like other comics. Don't post any of your stand-ups.
Yeah.
Because people are going to steal
People
your
will steal your
jokes.
stuff,
Listen, I'm going to say this right now. Whoever's watching, steal my jokes. If you don't deliver it correctly, it's going to suck. I'll just write new material. But like, it's just like take it.
Yeah.
Like if you watch comedy, these comedians shy away from posting their stand-ups online because they're afraid someone's going to take it. Take my jokes. Go ahead, take them. You want to use them, use them. Use them well. Don't fuck up my joke. But I'll write new material. But what I found out, you have these comedians that they'll do the same set for 6 years straight. With me, if I do a show in the same like I do White Plains, I'm writing a new hour show for every single time I do White Plains. 'Cause I don't want you spending money to come see me and listen to the shit you listened to last time. So I'll take
Honestly,
like 2 or 3 things out and use that. But for the
That
most
would
part, I like to
make
keep it
somebody
fresh.
want to come to more shows
Yeah.
because I've seen that multiple times where people have the same shows.
Yeah.
Even guys like Chappelle, they'll have the same
Yeah.
show 10 nights in a row.
Right.
but they'll have a different like guest or something. So
Yeah, and I try to keep it fresh. Listen, it's tough. It's tough to find relatable humor. It's tough to find humor that like when I write my material, I'm finding stories that like everybody can relate to. Because the funniest shit that you'll hear is stuff that you've experienced. So if I do a show here and I do a show in like Toronto, I could use the same material. No one in Toronto is going to hear that show. But I'll mix I'll take like really good jokes, like stories about my father, and I'll use that at every show. But for the most part, like you're saying, why would you come see me 3 nights in a row at different places if it's in the same vicinity and and you're going to hear the same stuff? It's to me,
even if you have 50 people that go to all 3 shows, that's a win,
Yeah. Now, within the hour that I do, I try to keep 40 minutes fresh, and then I'll mix in new material. I probably have. I had a comedian ask me. He was like, "How much material would you say you have?" I'm like, in the 6 months that I started writing again, I probably have like 19 hours worth of material.
So what's your process with that? Like, you literally have a notebook and
I have in my phone notes on my phone.
That's what I do too.
It's
like
it.
sometimes when we think of a meme, like I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna forget that. I'll just write it down real quick, and then I'll get back.
I'll
to
hear
it.
something. So I do it reverse. I almost do it like Chappelle does it. I'll hear something funny, and I'll write that down, and then I'll create a story around that punchline. So I do the punchline first, and then for the most part create a story around that punchline, which is harder, but you have the punchline. You don't need to come up with it. That's the main thing of the joke. And my stories, I like to hit you where you don't know where the story's coming from. Like, you don't know where I'm going with it. I don't like obvious humor. Like, when it's too obvious, it's like, all right, well, it's still
obviously,
funny. Yeah, I seen it coming from like a mile away. So
I've seen a lot of rappers, like, when they're like about to write to a song, they'll just like start like rapping to the voice memos. So that would be dope for you to do too, like just real quick. Like, if it's too much to type.
Nah, I hate my voice.
Yeah?
I watch my videos back to critique myself. Like, I try to, like, I don't want to curse too much nowadays. Like, you curse as long as it fits in the story, that's fine. But, like, I literally sit there with a notepad and write down how many times I F-bomb. And if I don't feel like it's necessary, I'll cut it out. Like, I'll say,
it's easier to see it.
Right. You'll open up more of an audience also. Mm-hmm. Like, there are people out there that they don't want to hear a curse every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes.
That's probably the biggest complaint with what you're doing, right? 100%. Because I know for us too, when we put like something that's borderline, people go crazy in the comments. Like,
listen, you're it's same thing with DJing, with any type of entertainment, any craft, anything you do for other people where you need an audience to do it. You're never going to appease 100% of the people 100% of the time. So if I'm going to piss off 4%, I'm going to concentrate on the 96% that I'm pleasing. So, but at the same time, you do have to watch. Like, you got these young comics out there that they'll write me and ask me for criticism. I'm like, you curse too much. You can listen. I grew up in an Italian household. My father used the word goddamn like it was going out of style. For positive, for negative, he would go, "Oh, I like it, that goddamn haircut you got." Or he would go, "Oh, who told you to talk like that? I'll smack you goddamn in face." Goddamn was the word. Yeah. I'll put it in my act and I'll get emails. Can you leave the Lord's name out of your mouth? I'm like,
don't say the Lord's name in vain.
Of a cross from my neck to my ass. Don't worry, Jesus is loved. But you're not going to, it's the same thing with your music. You play what you want, you're going to piss somebody off. I say what I want, I'm going to piss somebody off. Then the main thing that I follow, the day I have to walk on eggshells to do comedy because I might offend somebody, is the day I stop doing comedy. Mm-hmm. So
I get worried sometimes that we're getting there though.
You are.
Like, the world's really sensitive.
You're gonna have sensitive people. The thing is, we need to keep people that understand comedy. Like, they need to have a voice. Problem is, if you notice, people that like comedy or like music or like anything, they don't speak up when they like it. They speak up when they don't like it. Right? Nobody writes a Yelp review 16 paragraphs long because the pasta was good. They're like, "Oh, I got in. The service sucked. The chicken was bitter, like
was slimy."
Yeah, they sit home and angry type on their computer. You're always gonna have those people.
A perfect example of that is something recent actually. Kevin Hart's supposed to perform somewhere big. I forget where, but 4 years ago, a video. You know how when somebody's on the rise, everybody always like hawks their Twitter, goes deep into.
When they make it, they go back to what they used to.
Right. So, Kevin Hart's been known for years now.
He's supposed to host somewhere, right?
He's supposed to host somewhere. I don't know if it's still happening, but
he's supposed to host the
what was it?
The award show.
Yeah, that might have been it.
And
So
he, like,
the Oscars.
down.
So
not the Oscars, no. What one of the?
I don't know, something big, but anyways,
the Oscars.
Yeah. So 4 years ago he had a skit where it was like, I think it was like something making fun of like gay people or something like that. Just a regular comedy skit that he usually does, and then somebody like blew up his spot, pulled it back up and said, "Oh, this is what I want. This is what
he hates
everybody's gonna
gays.
hear."
He's homophobic. They made a big deal
Yeah.
about it,
So and then he's like, "You know what? I'm just gonna resign from this one." So
yeah, I think it was the Academy Awards. I think
Yeah, it
was
might have been
one
what
of the
it-
shows that he was hosting. So Kevin Hart, I love to death. Regardless of the fact that him and I are the same height, I love him to death. He's
Yo,
original.
I think you got 2 inches on him.
I might,
bro.
but whatever. He's black, so he can jump higher. Now people are gonna say, "Oh my God, you're stereotyping black people." They can jump higher than Italians. I mean, we have the belly. But Kevin Hart, what I love about him, I'm very similar. So I like all the old school guys: Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor. The guy that got me wanting to do comedy was Robin Williams. They're all storytellers. Kevin Hart's one of the best storytellers. He'll tell a story. You're not going anywhere. You're locked in. I feel bad for him. Because like you're saying, we're not too far away from watching what we say. Like guys like back in the day, like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, they would not be able to do comedy today because all these people, if you're watching comedy, it's like me coming to your club, you're DJing. I'm like, can you shut off the music? It's a little loud and I don't like to dance. Well, what are you doing in a club? So why are you watching comedy if you can't let go and just laugh? So I don't like that he withdrew. I understand why he did it. You have to appease people and you got to play into the whole politics. But listen, I make fun of Italians, Puerto Ricans, Indians, blacks, gays, transgenders, neutrals, X's, Y's, they's, hims, hers. It's all out of fun. I bring, like, I'll make a joke about this bottle of water. We're going to say, I'm against Poland Spring. You should boycott me. It's comedy. That's what it is, comedy. So I feel bad for him. But yeah,
the perfect example that was Dave Chappelle.
It was a funny gay joke. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't even think it was that.
I didn't even
No.
see that. But Chappelle, I don't think he would have ever like blew up nowadays. Like even then, I remember everybody was like, "How could he do this?" But that was one of my favorite shows.
That
Like,
show
I
is
still-
hilarious. That show is comedy.
That was
Listen,
one of my favorite.
You got to test the water. You got to push the envelope. Listen, there's stuff that Uncle Vinny's. I get emails. I literally get probably 40 to 60 emails a day of people I offend.
Like the Cucuzzo one when.
Yeah. Those are my wife's legs, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She let me borrow her legs and put on socks and
That's
pantofles.
awesome though, because when I saw that video, I was like, "How did he do that? Like, did he put his own legs?" Or something?
Yo,
thought he
some guy was like, "Yo, your legs are gross." I'm like, dude, if you think I'm that flexible, that my legs are on my shoulders, I said, if I was that
You
flexible,
wouldn't be doing comedy.
I wouldn't be leaving the house. If I was that flexible, I would not be leaving the house. Yo, hey, you going to work? Not today. I quit again. It's just, I get a hold of myself. I can't let go.
Yo, man, this was really fun, man. Pat,
Yeah, man.
where could people find you, man?
Yeah, man. Either Instagram at @patsy_the_DJ, or you can get my music at digitalmusicpool.com. Just gotta become a member. That's all.
And also, he has some funny memes. It's not always
yeah.
it's not really on the Italian side, but
I do make Italian memes. I just give them to the Italian pages, and they always repost it. But my page is just like raw comedy of just like memes and like the funniest stuff I could find on
I'm
the
a new
internet.
follower. Through my follower. I'm a new follower. Nah, his
And,
memes are good.
yeah,
I was
man.
like, this is not a DJ page. This is
Nah,
intriguing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I should probably take the DJ thing off, but I still promote my music through it, so it's cool. I just keep it
do
like that.
use a platform.
I fuck with what you're doing, man. It's perfect. What you gonna do, Patsy the meme guy? You got
Yeah,
a
you know what
meme?
I figured? What am I gonna change it to? Like I'm not
DJ
gonna be
memes.
Patsy the meme.
DJ
guy?
memes.
Yeah,
DJ memes.
I could do that.
I took a marketing class when I was
Yeah, I
younger.
should change. I actually don't like my name, so I should just change it to that.
That's it.
So,
DJ
There we
memes.
go.
That's it. Yeah,
See, we got another announcement today.
we got 3.
Hey, where could people find you at, man?
459. No, I'm joking. I mean, listen. If you do see me out, fucking approach me.
Did we say that story on the podcast, or was that? No, that was before.
That's prior.
The mole story you just said.
Yeah, no, I'm getting approached, and I don't care. I feel like if you're putting yourself on social media or you're putting yourself out in entertainment and you're out there, putting yourself out there, you should never be bothered by people approaching you to tell you that they like your content or your music or your comedy. What I don't like is when they do reach a certain level of fame, they stop replying or answering or acknowledging their fans, and that's what got them there.
Especially when you see them in person.
Correct. Like, if you see me in person, yell me out, come up to me, meet me. I like to meet all my followers.
Take a selfie.
That's it. Yeah, take a picture. I don't care.
Would you do the filter with them too?
Yeah,
To
I don't
Uncle
care, dude.
Vince?
I'm the way I am on stage or on social media. That's me. I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know how not to joke around. You know, granted, my wife might not like it all the time, but I'm gonna actually try to make a video of Uncle Vinny and Belle with my wife, but she doesn't know that yet. But come up to me.
I don't
meet
think
me.
you're gonna make it do that, bro.
Drugs might have to be involved. I might have to slip her a roofie. But listen, my main
He's joking
thing,
about date rape now too.
he's a fan of Bill Cosby. So like my whole thing is people ask me all the time, "Are you going to continue to answer people back?" Because I mean, you see on my page, I
Yeah,
try
I
to
see
answer.
I'll give you credit for that.
I saw one today.
It's
Do you have your
tough.
notifications on it? You see?
No,
that?
my notifications
You
are
gotta
off. So
look.
I literally scroll down and I pick a couple comments here and there. I'm never going to stop that because, you know, you have a fan that follows you, whether it's a young kid, it's a grown up. They like the fact that you actually read their comment and acknowledge them. Like, without the people that follow me, I wouldn't be doing shit. I wouldn't be doing comedy. You can't do something without a following. Like, you can't do music. You can't do this podcast. What's the point of doing this podcast? Nobody's watching it.
No, it's true.
So I'm always going to acknowledge everybody. Again, once hopefully I get so big where it's hard, but I will always, if you can answer one person back, it's better than ignoring everybody. And
Or just answer back the most important ones.
yeah, people,
You
listen,
know, the
there's comments that
clapbacks.
make me laugh. I'll acknowledge it. You know, you got people out there that think they're bigger than they are, and they don't acknowledge anything anymore. And I was always taught, stay humble. So another announcement I'll make. I'm doing new shirts. You guys are all getting free shirts. I'll send you Road Rage Wednesday. And I'm also coming out with a shirt, Paisano Entertainment shirts, and shirts that say stay hard. Obviously, it's supposed to be a little comedic
Hey.
twist.
Damn.
That's what it
Is
sounds
that
like.
Niagara Falls joke right there?
No. That would be a good backdrop of the shirt. No, but the shirt's going to say stay hard. And then on the bottom of the word hard, it's going to say humble, appreciative, respectful, and determined. Because that's how I was brought up. You know, don't ever forget what got you to where you are, because you can lose it in a heartbeat. And, you know,
Motivation
And
right
that, a
there.
lot of people could relate to that. They'll probably do really well.
yeah.
Like, it's not, Fangul or something.
No, it's not
something with a little
stupid.
meaning.
You know, it's bold letters, so, people are going, he's telling everybody to stay erect. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying to stay all those four things.
That too, though.
That doesn't
Listen,
hurt.
I wish I could walk around like that all the time.
Eat some oysters.
Yeah, I'll give directions with it. Go straight.
Want to tell everybody good night? Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
I think Kelly
Your
should
poor
do it.
sister.
Yeah, actually,
you never
yeah.
got the mic. I would boycott
The,
this
the
show.
little
Our own
rotation
podcast.
over here. Oh, I could do this. I didn't
I'm gonna change the password on it. Watch. So we're closing it up.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
So Sabino had a trash ass opening, so I'm gonna close it out with a bang.
Wow.
Buonanotte.